Hello, I'm Joe Williams from the Fire Brigades Union. I'm joined again by the General Secretary, Matt Rack. Alison Seabeck, the MP for Plymouth, recently raised a question in the House of Commons of the English Fire Minister around protection and the protection of firefighters from changes to the pension scheme. In his answer, Brandon Lewis implied that the Fire Brigades Union has not been pursuing that line during our negotiations. Matt, is that right?
Well, no, it's not right at all. The question of protection is absolutely crucial for firefighters. We've been pushing it for a long time. The question that was asked, and this is by members in fire stations local to Alison Seabeck's constituency, particularly at Crownhill and at Camel's Head fire station, and well done to them for raising it. And they're raising issues that have been raised all over the country by firefighters, and about the fact that they were promised certain things under the firefighters' pension scheme. That's now been taken away. But also the way that the government's protecting people, supposedly giving transitional protection, doesn't protect everybody, doesn't guarantee everybody's rights, and also in some cases people are effectively discriminated against because of age. So they may have more service, more pension, but because of their age they're not protected, whereas people who have less service are protected because they're older. So it's caused a lot of anger. And what Mr. Lewis has said is that the union didn't pursue the issue or didn't go down the road, he said in his response, at the time that was being discussed with the police. And I have to be clear that that's entirely not the case. And if people look back to how this has evolved, first of all, it's a clear point in our trade dispute, and if people refer back to our trade dispute, protection arrangements are very clearly set out, and demand is that protection arrangements which are a substantial improvement on the proposed final agreement. So that's a long time ago when we first registered that dispute. If you go back to a letter that we wrote to Brandon Lewis on the 11th of November last year, for example, again we make a number of points, and this is in relation to the different arrangements that are in place in Scotland, and we again point to the need for improved protection arrangements. So the very thing that our members are raising with Alison Seabeck have been raised consistently with the Department for Communities and Local Government and with Brandon Lewis. The idea that any of their officials were discussing with us at any point what they were discussing at with the Home Office and the police is simply not the case. Nobody's ever sat down with us and said, we're discussing this with the police, are you interested? That's never happened. So we've put that in a letter to Brandon Lewis on the 11th of November, which people can find on the website, and Brandon Lewis's response of the next day actually makes clear that he's dismissing the claim for greater protection. And he makes the point that in relation to the protection arrangements, the fact is a greater proportion of firefighters are protected than in any other large public service workforce. There is no case for extending these already generous terms. That's his position. That's not our position, that's Brandon Lewis's position. So it's completely untrue that we have not pursued the question of protection, and we continue to pursue the question of protection.
So unfortunately the Minister just unambiguously wrong about this?
Absolutely wrong. I mean, he'll have to explain why he's wrong. Without any shadow of a doubt, what he said there is completely wrong. It doesn't reflect the discussions we've had throughout the past 3 years on the question of pension changes. We've raised that point throughout.
Okay, thanks Matt, that's been very useful to explore. What are we going to do about this now?
Well, we're drafting a letter to Mr. Lewis just to clarify and put on record the facts of the matter. I think we will raise the issue with Alison Seabeck because she's been given an answer in Parliament that I don't think reflects what's actually happened. I would hope she would carry on pursuing the issue. We're going to give advice to members. There's lots of very angry members around on this issue, quite rightly so, and I think that we would encourage them. We'll draft a new lobbying letter to MPs so that people who are in that position, i.e. they are not protected under the terms of the proposals, that they should write to their MP, raise this issue again, and carry on campaigning on it. But so we're not going to let them get away with it. We will challenge them, and we'll put the record straight.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Remember, you can check into www.fbu.org.uk for more updates on this issue and the pensions campaign in general. Also, why not follow us on Twitter on @FBU National. Thanks very much.